Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. I'm joined today by two giants of India's retail industry. I'm joined by Nykaa CEO Falguni Nair as well as Metro Brand CEO Nissan Joseph. Thank you so much for taking the time out today. We're at the Foot Locker store that's opening up in New Delhi, the first one in India. Thank you so much for setting up this space for us. Firstly, could you start off by telling us what both of you bring to this partnership with Foot Locker, right? And an athleisure giant entering India. Explain to us what each of you bring to this.
Well, I think for any brand to be successful, whether you're a retailer or a brand or both, as Foot Locker is, you need both a digital and an offline presence, right? And so when you look at what Foot Locker has put together, we believe that Metro is one of the best-in-class retailers in India. Our long history of 70 years, operating almost 900 stores in the country in multiple banners, puts us in a great position to represent the brand well in an offline space. Falguni?
Yeah, and I think, as you're aware, Nykaa's been digital first, brought both beauty and fashion to the consumers in India through excellent digital execution. And I think what we are doing particularly for Foot Locker is we'll be managing footlocker.in site from the back end, as well as Foot Locker will be a store-in-store on Nykaa Fashion and Nykaa Man. So we are very, very excited about this partnership where on an omnichannel basis we bring to consumers both touch and feel as well as an online convenience as customers would want it.
Right. One question to the both of you. Why Foot Locker? And why now? I think these are two pertinent questions given what we're seeing in the market from both of you. We just want to understand why now.
Well, let me take these two questions, why Foot Locker and why now, right? So when you look at the growth of athleisure and the whole sneaker industry in India, it has just started its journey, right? And the best time to get involved in it as at the start of the journey and get the first mover advantage. That's number one. Number two, when you look at the multi-brand premium sneaker operators in the world, Foot Locker is definitely the global leader. So if you had to choose between those two from a time standpoint and when and who, now is the time for India, we believe. The sneaker maven in India, the sneaker head in India is definitely on the rise, and Foot Locker has established itself very well in that space. And then from a digital standpoint, there's obviously a lot of play too.
Yeah, and as you're aware, I think the advantage of this industry is that not only the basic consumption is growing, within that the digital penetration is increasing faster. And India is a very large country. Through the length and breadth of the country, to make this quality of assortment available, I think Indians have the desire and they want to access the assortment that we've now put together for them from so many brands from all over the world with the help of Foot Locker is going to be very exciting. And especially, like he said, for sneakerheads, I think that culture is coming in. I mean, if I were to admit, over the last 2 days, I've been just eyeing at least 4 pairs of shoes. So, it is definitely going to be a larger share of my wardrobe going forward.
Yeah, I'm drooling here too. So this is really nice to start us off. Both of you, tell us what sort of scale you see with Foot Locker, right? We're starting off with one store. This is just the beginning. But where do you see it maybe down the line in a year or two?
Well, I think Foot Locker has the possibility of getting to almost every major city in India, right? So it's not a big surprise that we should be targeting those cities. The question is about timing, right? The question is how you grow. You've seen from our growth of other brands in our portfolio that once we crack the right formula, and every country is a little different in its journey of adoption. And so once we figure out where India is on that adoption journey, there's no doubt that that journey has started. It's only a question of where we are on that journey of adoption. And once we figure out where we are on that journey, as you know, our history proves with an example of Crocs, we were able to scale up to 200 stores very quickly. And I think that's a different brand altogether compared to Foot Locker. But Foot Locker has the same brand recognition globally that we believe that it can play in almost every major city in India down the road.
Right. Ms. Nair, this brings a newish sort of segment for Nykaa Fashion as well. What sort of growth do you see this bringing to Nykaa as a platform?
We remain excited about prospects of e-commerce in spite of very extensive store network because of what we've seen in beauty. So if you look at beauty today, Nykaa has more than 200 stores. And in spite of 200 stores, our physical retail is only 10% of our total demand in terms of what we do online. So we do believe that India is such a large country, much beyond even 100 cities that we can cater to, that e-commerce is a great way to bring to all of India, what the big cities have a chance to experience. And with that, I think obviously with Foot Locker there, we already were playing in the sneaker and the athleisure segment in quite a significant way. But with Foot Locker being there with us, it gets very exciting. And we do believe that this particular segment of our business will grow and have a more meaningful presence going forward.
Right. Another one to you, Ms. Nair. What do we see as Nykaa's sort of next leg of growth in terms of BPC versus fashion? What do we see as becoming the next lever?
Actually, we don't see it as versus. What we want to do is we want to offer, I think it's going to be a decade for retail in India. I think the discretionary consumption categories are going to experience a very strong growth now that the income levels are rising pretty fast, and also the young generation of millennials and Gen Z are spending, and they're going into that income. They're going into that age group where their spending power is increasing. So with that, we do feel that we want to grow both beauty and fashion. In fact, fashion is a much larger industry than beauty in that sense. So both will grow at their own pace, and in fact, most studies predict similar growth for both beauty and fashion industry.
Right. Lastly, I think I want to get both of your opinions in on quick commerce, right? It is the buzz. It has been the buzz for a while. Do we see Foot Locker probably, do we see a lot of sneakers coming on quick commerce? So we had Blinkit a few days ago announced returns for shirts and fashion. Does that sort of provide an entry into quick commerce for fashion and associated brands?
Well, I believe anything that creates convenience for a customer creates an opportunity, right? And as we saw with e-commerce when they first came in, and it continues to be a good part of a lot of brands' businesses, right? So the only issue we got to figure out is how many people and where, because you got to stock all the different dark warehouses to fulfill that demand. But I think there's always going to be an ongoing play with quick commerce, and I don't know how you see it, Falguni.
No, we put a lot of emphasis on discovery, and with a wider assortment, the art of retailing and the discovery that you can put in place is probably not what quick commerce, which is very wide platform, can offer. So in that scenario, how do you balance between the two? So yes, for a discovered product, so to speak, a convenience of quick delivery is one thing, and anyway, it's not that the same convenience delivery is not available to other segments. It's just that I think quick commerce came in with a certain assumption of faster delivery and picked those pockets of demand and pockets of SKUs where they could provide fast delivery, and that is definitely going to make most of the retailers rethink. A store like this can deliver in the nearby radius very easily. So why would one not do that? I'm not just thinking for Foot Locker, but I'm also thinking for Nykaa stores. So I think there is an assortment-based faster delivery. If you're holding and stocking it in an area, then there is a logical distance around which you can give much faster deliveries. And most of our delivery statistics right now don't look good because they actually reach length and breadth of India. So in fact, quick commerce location-based SKUs that Nykaa sells is only like 12-15% of our business. So because of the fact that we service the whole country.
Got it. Thank you so much, the both of you, for taking your time out, and wish you all the best for this association with Foot Locker.
Thanks, Rishabh.
Thank you. Thank you.